Okay, so we are going to be talking about how I run my virtual party. And hang on a minute, let me get this. Get the full screen here. So if you're just starting with virtual parties, there's a lot of different ways to run them, and there's not necessarily a right or a wrong way to run them, but this is how I do mine. I've done a lot of research and I've done a lot of experimenting, and this is just what works well for me. So let me kind of explain how it works. Sorry, I just had to adjust something. So my party format runs for 7 days. So I will start my party on a Friday and kind of close it the following Friday. You could have the 5 days of posts kind of start. So I do 5 days of posts. This is heavy posting where I'm posting, 5 times a day, which I'll talk about. But I like to do 1 day of a pre-party where it's just engagement. I'm asking questions like, tell me how you know the host, or tell us about yourself. What's your favorite Pampered Chef product? What's your biggest kitchen struggle? Things like that, because it's going to help me get to know what kind of guests are in the party. And it's kind of like when you're doing an in-home party, as people are walking into the home, you're spending time getting to know them, kind of warming up. You're not just like hitting them with, have you heard about our double burner grill pan? So you don't want to do that with your virtuals either. You kind of want to have a day where you're just kind of getting to know everyone and helping everyone else get to know each other. And then I always do like a day of wrap up. So say my party's starting on a Friday, then I would do 1 day of pre-party on that Friday, then Saturday through Thursday do heavy posting, and then do a day where I'm giving my hosts some time to get in touch with everyone, and we'll kind of talk about that later. And then I recommend running all of your virtual parties at the same time or to stack them. So you can do 4 parties at a time, assuming that you're using a posting service. And I have them all happen at the same time. So I start them all on a Friday. That way everything is the same in each party each day, which makes it really easy for me. If you're not sure how to do this, I do have a video up about setting up the page that you're going to run your business and then setting up a party group. So, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel because I do post quite a bit about things related to parties. So as far as what my schedule looks like, I post 5 times a day. I think it's like 9 o'clock, noon, 3, 5, and 8, or something around there, right? So it's kind of spaced out throughout the day. Now, here's the thing, I do multiple posts on each time slot. If you post within 1 minute of each other, like so if you post at 9 o'clock and then post again at 9:01, Facebook will only notify people once. So they'll say if it'll only notify them that you've posted one time, even though you're posting twice, if that makes sense. Because we don't want people to get like a million notifications and then be annoyed with us. So what I might do is at 9 o'clock post a video of the breakfast sandwich maker, and then at 9:01 post 2 recipes that they can make in it. So the posts correlate with one another, and they so that when they go to the group, they're seeing them together, and they go together. You could also post like maybe a recipe and an engagement photo because we're trying to do that as well, which we'll talk about. So you can do multiple posts each time. So while you're only posting 5 times a day, maybe you have 10 posts. Does that make sense? I also have my host do a daily host post, and I will share that here in a second. But this is going to help with engagement in your party, and it's going to help your algorithms on Facebook. Also, I do themed days. I just recently started doing this and I really like it, where I might have like a Taco Tuesday, where on Tuesday I talk about all the things that they can use for taco night. Or around the holidays, I might do an entertaining day or a day all about gifts, things like that. You don't have to do this, but I really like it. It helps me organize the party. when I'm creating the templates. Now, I am planning to create a video on how I build my templates because that's a whole other thing. If you're new to my team, I provide you a template to get started with. So you will have one to run through your party. But if you're feeling like you're ready to branch out on your own, you can certainly do that. And so just look out for that video and I'll have that up here soon. Okay, host coaching. This is by far the most important part of your party. If your host is not engaged during your party, it's kind of like having a party in someone's home and then that person who's hosting is like in the basement or like goes shopping while all of us are in her house. It would be really awkward. But so one of the biggest things that you want to make sure that she's doing is inviting people. So I send an image because it's easy for her to refer to when she's trying to see what I'm asking her to do. If you're messaging her a lot, it might be hard for her to go back through and kind of find the messages that relate to inviting. If you send her an image like this, then you will have an easier time getting her to understand how you want her to invite. There's a lot of strategies that correlate with getting her to invite, whether it be having her add people to the group and then having them join, or only doing it through Messenger or using your Facebook wall. I do not give her or him a suggestion. I just let them know what the end result is and then give them some ideas of how they can do that. So I kind of invite through privately messaging the link to friends, family, and anyone who might be interested. And then I let them know we want 30 to 40 people in the group who have joined the group. And then I give them ideas on things to say. So, and then I will check in. I like to give them 2 days to do this, and I will check in on the group and just see what the number is. If he or she is at 40 guests, golden. I'm not going to fuss with it too much. But if you go in, you see that they might have like 10 or 15, I might coach them a little bit further and say something like, let's put it on your wall, or let's message some people or circle back with some people who haven't responded yet and things like that to get it up to the 30 or 40. The other thing you want your host to be doing is interacting on every single post. They need to be liking or loving or commenting on every post because that's going to help their friends see the post. If they don't interact on the post, the chances of all 30 or 40 people in the group actually even seeing the post is very slim because a lot of people experience Facebook through their personal wall. And when people are interacting on a post, it's going to show up on their wall. If they're not, it's just going to get buried. So you definitely want to make sure your host is interacting on each post. Plus, it shows the guests that the host is engaged. So then you also want to make sure you send them the host dashboard link, which you can find on Consultants Corner under her party links. And that way she can go in there, she can kind of keep track of his or her rewards, who has ordered, and create their wish list. And then that's also going to be where they put their own order in. On the last day of the party, I have the host reach out to anyone who hasn't ordered yet. So I have them say something like, thank you so much for coming to the party. I hope you enjoyed it. Here is the link. Are you planning to order? And then that way she or he gets a sense of who is ordering, who is not ordering. And then that's a really good way to get people to place their orders because they can click the link right from Messenger. I also have my host post. I try to do this daily. Sometimes I don't get to it, and that's okay, but try to do a daily post. And this is strictly for engagement. So one thing I really love doing is if you had to cheer me up by bringing me 3 items, what would you bring? And I love this one because I learn a lot about my host by what her friends are telling him or her to like they're bringing. So if they say, you know, oh, I would bring that person, you know, ice cream. I would bring them wine, and I would bring them a dog. And then maybe you could post something later of like something that would be funny or anything like that. But I just love this one because it helps me get to know the host. And people love to do this too. So these, again, are just going to help with engagement and keep your party really fun. The other thing I have my hosts do is I have them help me find the 3 bookings that I expect from their party. And I do offer a gift to my hosts when they have a third party booked. And I also want to use the future party pick. Oops, I have a typo there. Future party pick benefit. And what that is every time someone books from them, the host gets to go to that booking's party and select anything in the catalog half price. They get to pick one item or set. So I let them know that. I was like, just so you know, every time someone books from you, you get to go to their party and pick something half price. And when you have 3 bookings at that third party, I'm going to give you XYZ. I personally love giving a $25 gift card to my website, and I'll let them use it for their half price item because then they can get a $50 item for free. So that really works well for them. And I don't give them that third party gift until that third party has been held. Interaction. This is the secret sauce to your party. This is going to determine whether or not you have a really fun, engaged party or a party with crickets. Now, don't freak out if you don't have engagement. It sometimes does happen where people don't engage, but they will still order. And you might have the opposite where people won't order, but everyone's engaging. And it's just a balance of all of these different things put together that's going to help you find, out how that works. But anyway, so you really want to spend a lot of time with interaction because I feel that interaction is what gets you the bookings. So you definitely, what I do, you could easily go nuts spending every time a notification comes up on your Facebook, you run to the show and you interact with the guest. However, what I like to do to keep my sanity is I just spend 10 to 20 minutes every day that I have a party running. And I just go in and I respond to everything all at once. It doesn't take that long. And it's just a way for me to kind of prioritize that time, but not feel like I'm getting pecked to death by chickens throughout the day. Do not feel like you have to respond right away. You just have to respond. And so dedicate some time to go ahead and do that within each 24-hour cycle. I also make sure that with interaction, sometimes if you're not getting interaction, make sure that all the posts that you have are asking a question or engaging them. So for instance, if I post like a video of the quick cooker, I might say something like, which would be better? Do you like the idea of cooking something from frozen in like 15, or do you prefer the idea of cooking something, or you know what I mean? Just ask a question that refers back to the post so that they have something to say about it. Also, add value to the conversation whenever possible. So if you see that someone says, oh, I just love the brownie pan, I might say something like, oh my gosh, have you seen this new recipe? And post the recipe underneath that comment so that they have a new recipe for their brownie pan. And so that's a really great way to add value to the conversation, and it helps them have a fantastic experience with you. Ask questions when given an opportunity to learn more about a guest. Or here, wait, I did add something down here for adding value. So this person down here, we were talking about the breakfast sandwich maker, and they said that they preferred sausage on a croissant or wrap. And so I said, I love wraps and I love putting salsa on it, thinking that maybe she would try that and also find that delicious. So then when I ask questions to get an opportunity to learn about them, over here is an example of me doing that in a party. So they were talking about how they were a nurse and how she said something about a fiance, which was a big, that was a flag for me. And then she has a little puppy, Cooper. And then she was talking about family, siblings, sporting events. So that's a lot of information. And this was all on a post that said, get to know, tell us about yourself. And so then, of course, I asked her, I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then I love Chocolate Labs. And then I said, congrats on your engagement. When's the big day? So I'm asking questions. So she said getting married next October, October 3rd. And then she gave me information, and that happened to be my oldest birthday. So I said that. But then I also found this really cute photo. It was near Halloween when we were doing this, of this Chocolate Lab dressed up as a s'more, and I thought that was hysterical. And so I posted that underneath. So you can see how there was this really fun interaction happening in my party that's going to help her kind of remember me. And then when it comes time to adding her to my group or getting a booking or something like that, she's going to hopefully respond really well to that. Let your personality shine. You really want them to get to know the real you. Don't phone anything in. Don't be like, message me now for a special offer. You know what I mean? You don't want to do something that you wouldn't say in real life. Also, keep it simple and not too long. Don't like drag out the conversation any longer than it used to be. Just be authentic, keep it simple and short and sweet. I also give prizes in my parties for interacting, and I announce this at the beginning. So, like, I'll say, I'm doing a door prize for a free seasoning of your choice, and you can be entered in by interacting during our party by liking, commenting XYZ. And I do have my host also post that. I might have her post the prize or post a picture of a present saying, make sure you're interacting because our host is, or our consultant is giving away a prize at the end, so that you can kind of encourage people to do that. Okay, getting bookings. This is really, really important. You want to be getting at least 3 bookings from all of your virtual parties. My favorite way to do this is by using a Google form, and Google forms are really easy to set up. You just go to google.form, or you can Google it, and I promise it'll show up because it's Google form. But you can create one really easily, and if you message me and you're on my team, I will absolutely send that to you. I'll send you mine so that you can create your own and you can just copy and paste it. So I have this go on like the 3rd or 4th day of the party, and I also have my host post it as well, so that I'm making sure that everyone sees it. I do a dedicated giveaway for this. I do give a season's best, and I just draw someone out of the people who filled it out. So the people who fill it out, I do have them let me know who their host was at the bottom of the form. And then I put them on a drawing, and then someone gets a season's best recipe book. And so again, have your host post the link and then post like a picture of whatever prize you're giving away. Just keep it something like $3 or less. And if you're going to mail them, just make sure it's easy to mail. And so then I'll say, this is kind of what the top of mine looks like. So they have their name, their email address, and then I have them select anything down here. And the first one is a Facebook or a catalog party. I do let them do an in-home cooking show. I do get parties that way as well. So then they select this. Now the trick is actually getting in touch with that person, because sometimes it can be a little tricky. This is how I do that. So if they say that they want to do a catalog party, I let my host know that, oh, look, these 4 people are interested in hosting. Remember, if you get 3, you're going to get this awesome XYZ. And you actually have 4 people interested already. So I have her reach out to each person individually and say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're interested in hosting. I've had such a great experience with my consultant. And then I also immediately send them a friend request when I see that they are interested. That way they see my message. So once she's reached out to them, and then once they've accepted the friend request, I will then send them a message saying, like, thank you so much for your feedback, because I do have a section down here where I ask for feedback on my party. And would November 16th work to start your party? And then we kind of go from there. There's, usually if I have like 40 people in the group, I'll have like maybe 8 to 10 people fill out this form. So, excuse me. So from people who haven't filled out the form, I might have my host reach out to a couple other guests, or have her come up with guests to invite, and ask her to get in touch with them. And if they're interested, then I send them a friend request and message, kind of the same way I do with the Google form. If you just cold message people, you're not going to have a lot of success doing that, because Facebook doesn't really support us messaging people who we're not friends with. It's tough for them to even see the message. So you kind of got to be strategic about how you're getting in touch with people. So I talked about door prizes, and I've talked about like the form prize that I do. And so there's a couple of different things that you can do to actually get them the prize. You can certainly mail out a prize packet to the guests who win. Definitely make sure it's shipping friendly, like a season's best recipe book, maybe a pan scraper, things that are flat and sizable. And what a lot of people will do is they have packets of prize packets like already made up, so that all they have to do is slap on a shipping label and pop it in the mail. You can do that really easily through PayPal. They have a great shipping department. But you can, and then you can just set it out with the rest of your mail. You can also add it to their order by at the bottom of their order form, like on Consultant's Corner, there's this section here that you can click additional options, and then this will pop up where it says consultant gift. And you can enter in the total, and I always enter in the price of the gift plus tax. In Pennsylvania, a season's best is $2, with tax is $2.12. So I would type in 212. Typically, they've already paid for their order, so when you add something onto it, the remaining balance will show the total for the additional item. So yeah, don't feel like this has to be a big prize. You do not need to give away the farm for this. Just, a recipe book or a seasoning or something like that, people will be thrilled to get that. And I only give prizes for things that you want them to do. Okay, so if they're interacting, if they're booking, or they're filling out forms, those are the reasons why I would give prizes for my party. So I hope that was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions or anything like that. There's, like I said, you don't have to do it exactly like how I do it. This is just what works for me and my schedule and what I've had success doing. And I'm sure I'll tweak it over the years, and I'm sure you'll tweak it over the years, and you'll find something that works well for you. But this should give you a good basis of how to get your party going. So thank you so much for joining, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.